I was in the legislature. We had an education meeting at 4 o'clock. We usually ran till 5:30, but that day it ended early. And my very good buddy, office mate, who was later governor for 8 years, John Carlin, we went down to the office. And I jumped on the phone to talk with Mary Beth, and John jumped on the phone to talk with Ramona. And then we hung up. And John said, well, how's she doing? I said, well, you know, today is her full term day. But she said she's doing fine. She's just a little uncomfortable. He said, why don't you go ahead and go now? That way you don't have to hurry and you can be there and it's no problem. And so why don't you just go ahead and go now? So about 4:30, I went out in the car at the Capitol building and got in and started home. And the first hour I drove the speed limit, 65 then. The second hour I drove 75. I don't know why, I just did. I got to Salina, and at 8:23, it's now 8:24, but at 8:23, I came up over a hill. There was a highway patrolman, and he turned his lights there. Well, remember, it was winter time. It was the month of March 22nd. And so instead of staying in my car like a good little driver should, I immediately pulled over, jumped out of my car, took my wallet, and laid it down right on my back fender. And when the highway patrolman came up with his flashlight, he shined it right on my billfold, and right there on the back window was the sticker. He said, that says Kansas House of Representatives. Are you in the legislature? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, I thought you were in session. I said, we are. But my wife's in Hutchinson, and she's having a baby, and I'm trying to get there in time. He said, get in your car and get the hell out of here. That's exactly what he said. And so he got in his car, turned the lights off, turned around, went the other way. I drove 90 miles an hour. I didn't know that she was having a baby. I just knew that I was coming home to be with her. And so I hadn't eaten since noon. I stopped at McDonald's on the way to the folks' house over on Faircrest, where you guys went by. And I got a hamburger and a green St. Patrick's Day shake. And I pulled up to the car and in the driveway there, and leisurely walked in with my suit bag, my hamburger, and the shake in this hand, and Grandpa jumped up out of his recliner and said, they're at the hospital and he's having the baby, and I dropped the shake right on his rug. I laid rubber all the way to the hospital. I got there at 9:30, and where is he? There I am. His birth certificate says 9:33.
Wow.
So 40 years ago, at 8:23, that highway patrolman pulled me over.
Oh.
Made it to the hospital in
Didn't get the ticket.
67 minutes. And got there, and Andy came that fast. Yeah. I always remember that story, and I showed that spot there beside the road where I got stopped. So it was fun. Just wanted you to hear that story so you can always tell people.